Hi, so this is another uh, video. Uh, like I said, I'm making a lot of videos. I try to make a few a day. That's my goal, is to continuously show that, well, first of all, target individual and whoever is watching, let me just introduce myself because perhaps this is your first time watching my video, and I want to make sure that there's not too much confusion in regard why I make this videos. There's a lot of videos. If you're new to watching my channel, one thing you'll see is a lot of repetitive stories of what's happening to me, and I try to continuously introduce myself because it's kind of a refresher of who I am in regard of what's happening to me. And what you call it, TI. TI is a target individual. Target individuals, you're gonna see a lot of their testimony, and you're gonna think that these things are almost science fiction, or people are just not mentally sane. But it's unfortunately it's true. What you're gonna hear from other target individuals is very similar to what you heard from my stories. Uh, as a target individual, what happened is we become human subjects in this program where they are developing this technology. It's insane to even think that's even true, but that's the case. We are basically human guinea pigs that are used to continuously improve these technologies that are just almost science fictional, because this technology coming from these entities, mostly coming from DARPA, CIA, DoD kind of entities. Obviously, DoD is involved. Is what they do is, as a target individual, your whole environment is like full of people who are trying to get you to accept a false persona, because what's happening is this technology that these entities have uh, developed developed and utilizing it on as target individual is capable of doing so much manipulations. you know there's a lot of psychological manipulations, and there's also physical manipulations, and I'm talking about terrible manipulation in regard of organs and bones, and a lot of things they do to us. And then they use these people they contract to kind of intimidate you or try to make you be subscriptive of whatever manipulations, and they do a lot of things that are supposed to create anxiety or fear, in order to make you be more subscriptive of these manipulations. And it's non-stop, it's constant, it's a lot of repetitions of the same things, and you got to be strong to know yourself, because they are literally try to make you be somebody that you're not, and they use a lot of manipulation that is disturbing. If you go through my videos, you'll see that one things that constant I talk about is this manipulation, which I will call it pedophilia type of torture. But honestly, I'm not the one who came up with this terminology. Another target individual said that. So what they do is to try to push us down, break us down, push us to the level of like suicide, and basically destroy our self-image. They do these things where they make us have like this like internal reactions that are disgusting. I'm talking about, you're gonna hear a lot of sexual arousals being manipulated, a lot of thoughts being manipulated, a lot of dreams and memories being manipulated in order to disturb you, destroy you, obviously, but also make you be subscriptive to this notion of self that they've put together. It is nasty, but that's what they do. And they contract these people around you, right? Neighbors, people who become neighbors are all involved, and they are just clowns, disturbing trash, right? But they do what they do. The reality is you should not see them as more than just this trash aiding this program. But they have to act accordingly. They have to make really try to sell this thing for you to accept this. It's so, I would call it like gaslighting on steroid. And so every time they make you react a certain way, they will say some things. They try to make you, and they try to diverge every time. It's like gaslighting on another level, where in order to kind of make you be subscriptive of things, they make you experience like some sexual arousals that disturbs you, and then say, oh, they're gonna castrate you. Now, I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. I'm saying they're saying that because they want you to be identifying and using this fear tactic to make you identifying to this falsified reaction that they manipulated using this technology that can play with your arousals. That just happened 2 seconds ago. There was like this wholesome like picture or video of a man in this country, and there was like little kids, little girls, and it immediately forced me to get stimulations, sexual arousals, which are disturbing. If you go through my videos, you'll see that I've talked about it all the time. It is nonstop. And you know, obviously, naturally, you will not react this way. But for me, since the day of August 2019, that changed. I've not been myself since that day, and ever since that day, I get disturbing stimulations, and those stimulations are aimed toward children, babies of all ages, and from the little ones to the older kids. They're so nasty, and they try to break you down and make you acceptive of these things. It's so nasty. And they try to make you acceptive of this. No, what we did was we mapped it to you when you were a child, and then they try to even, to kind of back up this nonsensicalness of like what we're doing to you is just will make you think the way you think if you were a child, which on its own is just shows how retarded it is. And I keep using the retardation terminology because that's kind of what they want you to be on. They want to be on a spectrum where logic and sense of rationality disappear. And so they were saying, for example, what happened just to you, what we did is we made you be you when you were a child. And it's of course stupid nonsensicalness, right? Stupid is a nice word to say what I'm trying to say. And then they talk about, but remember what you did in middle school. This is a stupid thing, impulsive moments of a child that happened when I was just turning 14 years old. And they're like, no, you see, that's what we're doing. We're making you think. It's like, stop it. You're manipulating my brain. And I'm not a child. I'm a grown man. I'm an adult, and I will never see this thing in the way you're making me sing or react the way you're making me react. But I understand this is a tactic that you've been implemented onto others. I'm not the first, and I will not be the last. This is actually a systematic tactic, and you're going to hear a lot of pedophilia type of torture coming from other target individuals. It's disturbing. And the reason they do that is just to try to break you down. But it doesn't even end there. They just even manipulate your memories into some, for me, for example, this when you hear, so for me, I'm a target individual with what you call V2K or synthetic telepathy. And if you're new to this, you hear that's like that technology, or where this DARPA like in technology is capable to project. You can, these people, these perps around you, you can hear them, but because they're using this technology from this intelligence community where you can hear their voices remotely. They have the ability to project via whatever device, able to hear people who are not close to you. And when I mean hear, it's not directly to your ears, it's like it goes directly to your brain. And you're gonna hear a lot of, like, there are a lot of testimonials of target individuals. You're gonna hear that. For me, that started on August 19, 2019. I think I was just about to turn 32 years old. And that day, that's when it started. And it was crazy. It was insane. Because, prior to that, I was never a person who even, looked into like what technologies are out there. Even think about like human experimentation. Was that something that really exists? Like I never actually thought about that. I never really did my research on that, and I didn't know how advanced this technology was. Right, finding out is very, 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 very advanced, and I am one of many subjects that helps develop this technology. But this technology are so advanced that they also can manipulate memories. But finding out that memory manipulation is actually something that is kind of expected to come in soon in the commercial world, in the mainstream world. I was looking at articles, and in 2016 they were already making like journals from doctors were writing journals about being ready for the day memory manipulations are coming uh, to the mainstream world. And so what does that mean? They talk about, would that impact, if I manipulate your memories, would that impact your notion of selves? And like they were like basically, and that's in 2016. So memory manipulation, that's something that kind of is easy to believe because it's already out there, in a sense that it's expected to be coming up to the mainstream world really soon. So you can only imagine, as subjects of this program, of the intelligence community and Department of Defense, which, by the way, DARPA is involved, and DARPA is actually been working on neurotechnology, which include also memory related technology. So you understand that we get the foulest, like we get all of the like things that perhaps will never hit the mainstream until years and years after our death. Um, and so there's a lot of lot of memory manipulation. As you can see, even my speech patterns are being manipulated. They're changing the way I speak. They are making it hard for me to speak. I'm super fatigued. I know my organs are being destroyed. My organs, my gastro organs, my intestines, and all that. They've been doing things to that, and my brain, of course, is just fried. My skull is literally looking like my brain is trying to come out of it. It's like it's getting like I'm getting bumps and stuff. So it's hard for me to interact and talk. But I want to say the same thing until I can. Because I'm listening to this trash, right? I'm being told I'm rotting because they do things to my organs, and they use these childlike individuals, like it's just like almost children. And you're gonna hear a lot of target individuals think that this is spiritual, and it is, in a sense that, like, I'm just so thankful that I didn't have to live my life growing up doing the things they do. Because these people, as much as they try to vilify target individual, these people are involved in things that just you can't even understand. We talk about torture, sexual torture of children, 3-year-old children. They use these rape tactics not only on men but a lot of women. I mean, they're pushing women to kill themselves, children to be sick. They are the nasty lowlifes of earth. They are the scum of the earth. I don't even envy, like I don't even want to live like I do. I know I'm being destroyed mentally, psychologically, in many other ways, and I don't envy their life where they are living in comfort. I could not even imagine. I could not meet the person who's being tortured who would ever be wishful to be living their life. That's why I'm like, this is spiritual, because I still wouldn't want to live. I don't want to be tortured. I want to live a normal life, but that is not the life that I want. That's why they use these childlike people, and these retards almost things that they're winning. They're so pathetic. They come up with this fantasy. For example, my memories are being manipulated, and I'm gonna show how stupid these things can get. They were talking about MySpace. Now, if you're familiar with MySpace, MySpace was popular around 2005 to 2008, right? A few, over a decade old. So, around my high school years, or when I just graduated high school, around that time. And they're trying, because they do this pedophilia type of torture, and I think there's one trash around here, or some childlike individuals talk about how they're gonna frame me, right? And they're like, well, they have proved that these ways I'm reacting toward children of all ages, especially like teenagers, is because when I was in high school and I was on MySpace, I talked to people who were also in high school. But then they go into like one profile I remember, because it was a fake profile. It's somebody who's not real. And I don't know if you're familiar with MySpace, you can just give the basic information. And I think at that time I was either finishing up high school or just finished high school, right? I was, and so they're trying to make me imagine. It was a fake profile because you see the picture, the picture is not that person. When you see a fake profile, by the time, as somebody who just in high school, just graduated high school, you're like, maybe, let me take the chance. If it's real, but it wasn't. And so in that profile, there was like pictures of this person and also like of a private area, right? And you can see that that was like basically a picture from somewhere else that put, it was fake. And I remember trying to talk to this person, say, hey, how are you? No. She responded with this weird thing, which is most likely a fake profile. And so they're trying to be like, how old is she? I was like, and they try to make me imagine, because on the profile, on the MySpace profile at the time, you could, if you wanted to put an age, you could put an age. If you don't, you don't. And that didn't have an age, right? I think it showed like where she was, or where high school she went to or graduated, because I also graduated from a high school near hers. So we're about the same, close to the same area in high schools, right? And they're doing their best to try to make me think, you see, and they make me imagine her putting her age there just to create this memory and be like, that's proof. First of all, we're talking about me in high school, or just about to finish high school, or just finished high school. And then you're talking about MySpace, right? And this profile is not a real profile. Most likely, all along I had an idea that this is probably a fake profile, because I even saw the people that were, because we have mutual friends, right? In MySpace, you can see mutual friends and common friends. And I could see like the guys there. I was like, I'm sure one of these guys created this profile and tried to mess with us, right? And so they're trying to come up with these different stories, and they're like, oh, okay, they make me imagine like her putting her age of, like, it's just, they can play with your memory, especially when it comes to like old things like that. They can play with your memory, so they'll make me think, she put her age of this, like 16 years old or whatever. And then it's a false memory, because she didn't, like, there was very low, very minimum information about her, right? It was so like where, like her name, where she's from, like what high school she went to, or something like that. And mind you, I'm still either just finishing up high school or just graduate high school, so I have no other schooling but high school. So that would be something I will have too. I will only have like, what high school should I? Uh, uh, St. Louis High School. That would be my only schooling, and she will have like she'll have Milwaukee High School. But they're like, no, that's proof. High school, you see? I'm like, what? Now, mind you, this is 2005, between 2005, 2008, so I would say more 2006, 2007. And so they try to come up with these stories. And you hear this stuff, nah, MySpace, you see? Now, you understand that it's pathetic, right? It is very pathetic, because they manipulate. And I remember being in the train, and they would try to be like, oh, you see, that's child porn. Coming from a fake profile, you are here making these fake memories with the age there, just to try to create this when I'm in high school, and it's delusional. On MySpace, they're pathetic, and try to come up with the stories. They live off distorted reality, manipulations, and trying to get you to accept a story that they want you to be subscriptive with. And with me, like, my memories have been manipulated in the ways that you cannot understand. And because memories, if you read this article about memories, it's like it's about imagination. Memories are not something fixed. They can be played with. They can be easily transformed and manipulated in different ways. They can make you have a memory in a different fashion. This is one of many. They've done way more complex manipulation of memories. So it's a falsified memory, and I'll make like video about it, because I want to show like, and I give you an idea how the MySpace will look like, and how they try to mess with you. But these people don't. They live off a distorted reality, and that's what they like to call it. You hear this childlike individual say, oh, this is our reality. Our reality is distorted reality. They don't live within reality. And who are these people? I'm talking about these perps contracted by the government. They are trying to cope with having to be this retarded in order for me to accept this psyop, this persona. And then I've seen some of them in the hallways. You look at them, you're like, oh my gosh. then you see someone's like, you guys are just trash the government. You know, with me it's so pathetic, because as they try to come up with this MySpace retardations of narrations, they can't speak about a pedophile that was picking up 14-year-old kids when he was 35 years old. And they are here creating their reality. It's humiliating to be them, because they try to maintain the psyop. Now listen, not all target individuals have this you know, the psyops can differ. With me, it's even more humiliating for them, and they will be like, "Oh, you see, that fake MySpace page that responded this weird way, like it was just obviously falsified. It's obviously like a false page, as much as at the time wishing it was a real page. You know, it's obvious it was fake. Even the response was just kind of fake. They probably got like some picture of some person, you know. And mind you, me as a teenager, me in high school, finishing up, you know, I would like you know, I'm like, I hope this is true. I hope this is a real page, but obviously it was fake. The way that it was responded to me, it showed, you know, it was kind of like they were just kind of trolling me. And so you gotta be, but if you hear the story I just said, this is the kind of thing I deal with as a target individual, because they're trying to paint you in something that you're not. And because today what's happening, I'm getting these reactions they force onto me. It is disturbing. It is disgusting. They make you have these reactions toward children of all ages, from the baby ones to the older kids. I mean, I see this, now I'm in this neighborhood, and listen, I'm sure there are very beautiful women here, but what I'm being forced to this, what I see is this disturbing little teenage kid that just walk, and they make me, they have the ability to create perceptions that are so disturbing. Like, they can make me look at something and change the perception and create things that are not there. I once saw a plastic bag coming down, and for a second there I thought it was a car going down, because the way my perception was being played with is like it went there. So what they do with this like teenage kids is just like, and I'm not even talking about some of them you could think that they're older. No, some of them like obvious kids, like 15-year-old. And you see this kid, and they're like trying to create like perceptions of sexuality, like make her have legs with like curves and things that she doesn't have. And she would try to like, I would look at her like, you guys are making things that are not there. And they would try to walk this little tiny little 15-year-old kid. I'm like, really? You're disturbing with this? You think this is the things that would do anything to me? And you see the other little teenager try to walk, and like, ugh. Trash. But these people who can't say the name of a pedophile, Roy Moore, are here trying to, making their kids do these things. It's disturbing. I'd rather die slow than having this humiliating reality where I have to distort reality. I can speak about a pedophile like Roy Moore. This name to them is like blasphemous. They do, when they say it, it's like you see it like mumbling slowly, just. But that's just one of like the humiliation of reality, and how they have to distort reality is that they can't say the name of a pedophile, but they try to make me their pedophile. Matter of fact, right now I'm here through the V2K they try to make it seem like they said it. It's so pathetic, as if I'm saying the name of a god, as if it's the dare to say his name. Let me repeat that. They can't say Roy Moore. They are so pathetic. They work for entities filled with pedophiles, and they're here trying to make me subscriptive of this, because I know they're just the trash. Sorry, they are just the bottom feeders. The trash are the people who actually coming up with this. These entities running this program are obviously entity in the Department of Defense. We're talking about CIA, DARPA, and all these entities have problem with pedophilia. So not only they can't even speak about this pedophile called Roy Moore, the entities that contract these lowlifes are filled with pedophiles, and they do this pedophilia type of torture that other target individuals literally call out. And they have to actually distort reality to make themselves believe in this fantasy, but also try to make me subscribe to this manipulation, because it's part of the program. They can do nothing about that. Their job is to do what they're supposed to be doing. And so for me, they've been talking about the theatrical torture, I call it. Theatrical in the sense that they think that the me being tortured in certain ways is going to change the reality of things. But I make the videos, target individuals, not only to describe what's happening to me, but also because these people, they live their life trying to break me down and make me subscriptive. I'd rather be dying like this than having to live like them. Death comes to all of us. I know who's killing me is not them. They might be pressing the buttons, but they're the trash. Wherever I go, that will happen to me. The people who kill me are the people who put me in this program. I know that my first employer put me in this program, and that's why I'm dying. And the same reason they can say Roy Moore. Let me repeat, Roy Moore. So to all my target individual, stay strong. Do not identify with these manipulations. And when they try to vilify you in whatever ways, for me, they even talk about me as a child and try to exaggerate something I did as a child. They're in a program that is out here sexually torturing babies. What those kind of people involved in these things, what do they deserve? I'd rather die slow than having to counter that and cover that up. So stay strong.